All right, so welcome back to the Community Podcast. I'm your host, Chase Johnson Lynch. It's been a minute, but we're all within the times. We'll just call them the times. We're all in the times of the new normal and everything, but we're back here in the studio, socially distanced. Trust me, we're at a very long table, and I am happy to. I've been doing this Zoom thing for a couple of months, and I'm happy to finally be back in the studio, the big Condo radio studio, with a guest, a man by the name of James Diboe. Diboe?
Diboe.
Diboe.
Yeah.
All right, James, and everything like that. I've never met James, but we know the same people.
Sure.
Because James contacted me because a mutual friend of ours, Patrick Graham, has been on the show, and they're going to be doing some big, interesting stuff together. So, first of all, let me just welcome James. Hey, James, what's up?
Good. How are you, Chase? Been watching your show. It's good.
You know what? Thank you, James. It's good to know that the fans can reach out to me and just say, "Hey, can I be on your show?" And look at here we are.
That's great.
We broke through hell and high water to get to the right date.
Finally,
No. But mainly it was like I just thought it was really interesting, kind of like the stuff that you were saying that you've been involved in. I would like to say that James has really been on a journey. He's been on his own vision quest for at least like the past 14 years, right about now, traveling the world, researching, visiting, and talking to people, as we will say nowadays, of indigenous peoples.
That's right.
But it used to be called tribes.
Yeah. So we can call, some people say indigenous tribes, indigenous peoples, but we all come from a tribe at one point.
I'm from a tribe, bro.
That's it, So when we say indigenous peoples as well, like, for example, you can go Australia, you see the Aborigines.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can go outback and then you're going to see the ancient traditional style. But then you've got the people on the streets. They're still Aborigines, but they're on the streets. You see a lot of them alcoholics or, they're on some sort of drugs or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I really feel for these people, that's why I like it. It's the same with the Native Americans, isn't it?
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I was sharing with you because, like, my family background is involved in Native American history because I was in a taxi once, and I told this guy that I was Native American. He's like, "No, you're not." You know what I mean? It's like, well, my grandmother is from the Lakota Sioux tribe, and on my mother's side, and my grandmother on my father's side is Blackfoot. So yes, I think so. You know what I mean? So it's just really interesting about these whole name things because I think even in America now that they want to take away Christopher Columbus Day and call it Indigenous Peoples Day. So that's what struck me when you told me about what your interest was. I thought, oh well, this would be a real interesting conversation.
It's like even in Kenya when I went to visit the Maasai tribes.
Mm-hmm.
And they're probably one of the oldest tribes.
Yeah.
I don't know about the oldest, the San, they're very old and that, but I'm very interested to see their history and talking about when they went up, going up the Nile to Egypt. And it's through the Nile River, along the Nile River, isn't it?
Of course.
Biggest river in the world. So, it's just interesting to, and then Zanzibar, you still got Maasai tribes there.
Yeah.
Tribes have travelled sometimes, with the base between certain countries. And obviously, when I went to Gambia, I went also to visit the Roots tour, Kunta Kinte Island.
Yeah.
I had to get the ferry over there. Now, very interesting, because you're watching stuff from when you're a youth, Roots and that. And it was just interesting to, like, be there. It was amazing. And very emotional. But it's good to, like, see these places and stuff. Like, I don't go too much on the slavery. I'm more into the civilizations and prehistory and other achievements and stuff, like, earlier, recent or in the past or whatever. But, because I'm more into the indigenous stuff as well. Like, say I'll go to Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
And you can go into, like, the Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Thailand as well. Now in Thailand, you've got a group of people, only about 300 people, tribes, the Manik tribe. And it's very interesting when you see them because you don't see these people on TV. You think of a Thailand person or a Philippine person, Malaysian. They look kind of like...
Or Thai boxing.
Yeah, well, even Thai boxing. But it's interesting how you have to find these people. You go on holiday, if you just go as a tourist on holiday, you're not just going to come across these people. I've had to do solid research for years on how to get there. The first time I did it was when I went to Malaysia, and this is the first trip into Southeast Asia. I went with my cousin Daniel, and it was he wasn't really too travelled, but when he came back, he said it felt like it changed his life, and that felt good to me.
Wow.
We walked on the longest canopy in the world. I think I sent you some of the pictures on
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the longest one in the world, 135 feet high, and it's a spiritual walk. There's tigers in these places, there's snakes in these places, and
tigers outside of cages.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because
Okay.
it is a rainforest.
I dig it, bro. You won't find me there.
But when you get to the other side, the canopy, you'll see a lot more of the tribes in Malaysia. An area called Taman Negara, that's the area. And I'm very interested in languages as well, linguistics and stuff. Right. I know there's similarity to these words and African words going way back.
Yeah.
And then also in Indonesia, you've got all these areas. And I went to a place called, you probably heard of it, Guam, Micronesia.
Yeah, Guam.
Well,
yes.
in Micronesia. You've got the Free Island chain, Micronesia, Polynesia, Melanesia.
Yeah.
I've been up all the Free Island chains.
Wow.
And Melanesia, the reason why they call it that, because of the dark skin, Melanesian.
Is that where melanin comes from?
Yeah, and then what's the other one? Polynesia, obviously the big island. Micronesia, the small islands. Yeah. But it's interesting though because they suffer certain kind of, like we were talking about the Australian Aborigines and the Native Americans. Look at Hawaii, and Guam. I've seen a lot of the indigenous people in Guam, but you got to sometimes, they're not just everywhere, because there's a funny thing, people call themselves Chamorros there. Now, this is the mixture of the Spanish and the indigenous people going from.
Wow.
And this is something that shocked me when I got there. And they were like, well, we're the Chamorros, we're not the Micronesians. It was very confusing, but I was happy to learn how people think.
Yeah.
And that's why the best Pacific island that I've been was Fiji to me. It's, it's a strong connection. I do like most of the island, but Fiji's definitely, I've been there twice, and both times I met the chief.
Yeah.
And the first time I got to Fiji in 2013, I was having feelings anyway that I'm going to meet someone interesting, and then I get there now, and then I'm getting on so well with all the local people, where they were very surprised at what I knew, what I was researching, where I'd been, and he said, I think we're going to take you to meet the chief. And then the visit, he sorted the visit. So we had to obviously, you got to dress our traditional way. We had to present the chief a kava. Have you ever heard of a kava plant?
No.
Well, they make it into a drink and you're down it and it's nice though.
Well, right.
Quite a bit like head of the
Is that like peyote, where, you do a vision quest after you had the drink or something?
Yeah, and it was like a bit of a set this type of ceremony, where it was so interesting. And then the next day he said, come back and you get your picture with the chief and some of the warrior of the tribe, and also the spokesman. Before you go to see the chief, you report to the spokesman, and the spokesman's house is only there, and there's the chief's house over there, but you still have to go through the spokesman. Make sure you take your shoes off when you enter his home.
Yeah.
He was there with his wife, the chief, and there was a blessing, and he was what was made them very interested is me Nigerian blood in me.
Wow.
They were really interested in that, and they were asking me also a lot. The next day,
could they see it in you?
Well, they knew before I came that there's a person who's from Nigeria. They thought I was actually born in Nigeria.
Yeah,
that's
of course.
What they thought.
Well, technically you are, right?
But I was happy though when I met them now, because they seen it was an exchange of knowledge. I was speaking to them for about an hour, and asked me a lot of questions and stuff. And he was saying that they come from Lake Tanganyika, which is Tanzania, that area, East Africa. So I was really interested because I knew the story about it. That's why they embraced me.
Yeah.
So when I left, I went back there 18 months later and I went Tonga at the same time, roundabout. But I had to go back to Fiji. There's when you leave a place and you feel still some more answers.
No, definitely. I get it.
So I've done a few interviews. The second time, I've got video footage. Eventually, I'm going to be doing a documentary. I've got a lot of footage with people all over the place.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, James, because we were talking, we do like the show notes or the pre-notes and everything in the pre-interview, and we got to talking about the Mayans in Mexico
Yeah.
and everything, and I want to kind of like go there because, like if anybody knows me, I had a show called Don't Get Me Started and everything like that, but I'm interested in your trip. To Mexico because you purposely went in 2012.
That's right.
Right? So can you tell me what you learned there? I think you said you were in Chichen Itza?
Chichen Itza, yeah.
Chichen Itza.
Yeah. So basically, this from Cancun. It's maybe not. It's not really very far, but I wanted to meet the Mayans, and it was my own thing of it was 2012. They were saying December the 21st. It was supposed to be the end of the world, and now
tell us the story, because not everybody is a conspiracy theorist. 2012 was supposedly the end of the world according to the Mayan calendar.
Yeah, according to the Mayan calendar.
And to us dumb Americans, we saw the John Cusack movie 2012. So
yes.
just tell us about.
So I just started to investigate myself because I'm not a person who takes things lightly. So I'm gonna go over there myself.
Yeah.
And it's about September I'm there, so we've got 3 months left, haven't we? Wow. So I'm speaking to as many people, but it's very important that I speak to the Mayan people.
Yeah.
I feel they've got the knowledge. They said it's not the end of the world, it's the end of a cycle. It's a new beginning. You have cycle. It's not the first cycle that they've had many cycles.
Right.
So, and what was very interesting as well when I was in Mexico, I actually learned that the Mayans weren't the ones that done the calculations.
What?
And I was a little disappointed. But
you mean there was like somebody who read their calculations or their tablets, or
somebody got there before them? The Olmecs. I don't know if you've seen that. There's a part in Mexico where they have the Olmec heads, and if you look at the features on the image of West African people.
Mm-hmm.
Now this looks like now the Olmecs, the heads are about, they say, date from 1000 BC. Some say that 1500 BC. You see different dates in that. Now, from what I've researched, is the Nile Valley civilizations and also West Africans have been able to navigate for many, many years. There was a boat
like the Phoenicians.
Before the Phoenicians. So we start go like I think I sent a picture of a boat, the oldest boat you might have noticed it on the site in Nigeria, 8,000 years old, the Defuna canoe. So it's showing you that people have had technology for many years.
Yeah.
And you have to remember, people in Africa for hundreds of thousands of years, they must have come up with something.
Hey, I remember studying about the city of Carthage. And, where they supposedly had the first set of wings.
Right.
You know what I mean? Before Leonardo da Vinci.
Well, funny enough, when you said about the Phoenicians, because the Phoenician story is not told too correct. They tell our story as, in a way, the Phoenicians went to Carthage, and as if there was no Carthaginian. There was people there.
Yeah.
There's about 800 Phoenicians that went there.
Yeah.
And the 800 Phoenicians can't turn everybody into Phoenicians, can they? You have to always use common sense with this. I feel like a lot of scientists don't have common sense.
No.
And a lot of the time, they ignore ancient seafarers.
Yeah.
Which very obvious things. But I'm really happy to be a part of all this, though, and
yeah, Well, I just think what you're saying is all just very fascinating, because when we were talking about Mexico and everything, I was asking you, have you ever been to the Valley of the Kings? Because in my minuscule research, I'm nowhere near like you, but in my minuscule research, I didn't even know that they had this Valley of the Kings where they had these 3 pyramids in one place.
Right.
And so you were saying, well, there are different kinds of pyramids.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that, because you were talking about like this 3-step pyramid.
Okay, in Tonga, they have something called a 3-step pyramid. It's a different name what they have, but it's still a pyramid. It's 3 steps. 3 giant steps, but it's a pyramid.
Well, what do you mean by giant steps? I mean, can a human naturally climb these steps?
Do you get what I'm saying?
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's not bigger than us. The steps.
Right.
I don't mean like that.
Oh.
Also, they have the way we have a Stonehenge in England.
Yes.
They have one there. it's a different name, but it's amazing. Like, and
What's that? Isn't there one in Darlington or something called the Wide Henge, in another part of England. So what I'm just trying to say is, do you know, again with this whole like, don't get me started,
oh yeah,
these henges
and
are actually spaceports.
well,
Do you buy into that? I'm not
no,
going to go down that road.
I don't
but-
buy into that.
Okay, fine. I would just go.
I buy into what I believe is that there was a connection in ancient times.
So there's another henge somewhere. So get to your henge.
Yeah, there's a connection with everywhere. Even like when I went to Angkor Wat in Cambodia,
All right.
you can see it's too much similar. People share ideas. You can see where they've got a lot of ideas from, like their spiritual systems. It's very similar to Egyptians, the Indus Valley civilization. You know, there's a lot of similarity around the world. Things seem to be more similar in ancient times to nowadays. In the last, say, couple of 1,000 years, things have changed. You know, so it's very interesting. Some places that have been like, even the Tongan people. I asked them, where do you believe you've come from?
Oh, okay.
They just point to Fiji. They don't see him as intelligent as the Fijian. The Fijians seem a bit more intelligent, like Tongans.
Right.
Like the more like nothing very very different. I find the Fijians, they're more like, they seem more happier.
Yeah.
Like Tongans seem a bit more serious. I don't know what.
Well,
But I've got on with a lot. I've got friends there though. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of good people.
I'm just curious about this, like, you could even call it a cultural quest that you've been on, but have you ever been to, like, Peru or places like that?
I've been to Venezuela and Brazil.
Okay.
I've not been, but that's definitely on the list.
I mean,
Definitely got to go to there.
because it seems like your focus has been in looking at or searching for these tribes or indigenous peoples in these areas. But I'm just kind of curious, you know. I mean, like, again, I don't want to take you down the conspiracy road, but in my fascination in following things, there's like places like Peru I would love to go because they have these, you know, ancient caves and, you know, where there are supposed to be books or the underground library or there's places that have like the Rainbow Mountain, you know, like because the stones are like these different colors and stuff. And I'm just like, you know, is it just about looking at different people and how they live and where they come from for you? Or, I mean, because you have seemed to be traveling all over different areas, I mean, do you not come across those kind of like thoughts or?
Yeah. What it is basically, first of all, it just begun with wanting to travel. That's how things begun. Just wanting to travel, see the world, curiosity. Second is when I start getting to places, I start getting interested in, like when I went to Cuba 2006. I was interested. What is a Cuban person? What makes it? You know, you sometimes wonder. So when doing research and I see, well, there's Africans. Obviously, that was there. There was Spanish that was there. The Native American people and some people that are a mixture of all three.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
And it's very interesting. And with it being, it's communism, isn't it? So out there 2006. So I had to leave the tourist area because there was no shops or nothing, or I've never been somewhere actually like this where I had to go on a 3-hour journey, and we were staying in the other area called Cardenet, and my dad said it was a lot more different, realer people, because when you stay in the tourist zone, the people you meet are people usually trying to get money off you most of the time. When I go to the village area in Gambia, Kenya, or certain areas, it's people are looking after you, if anything.
Really? Well, I know. I've been to Luxor like twice or 3 times, and that's the thing I couldn't take them. Is the constant, you know, need to, you know. I mean, don't even give them a pen. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, well, it's good to always if you can find the right guide. Because I get on, you get on with some people, and some people can help. You know, they can take you. I'll say, let's get a car. We'll go on a journey somewhere.
Yeah.
And go and see different things. Now, in the Philippines was an interesting one there, because this time I've just hired a car with a driver, and it's not his job to be a tour man. He's just there to take you there. You do the touring yourself. So when it gets out of the car, he didn't want to get out. So I thought, okay, we've come on a 5-hour journey. We've had to drive up mountain areas where you need a 4x4 Jeep, otherwise you're not getting up.
Yeah.
And then when we got to the very top, so we stayed in the car. So I thought, you know what, just jump out. So I had my own camera and I just started filming straight away. First thing I said to them, I'm wondering, well, I'm going to start this because I'm not on a tour. I'm my own tour. So I said, do you know Africa? I've got this on video. And unbelievable, the standing ovation that I got. That broke the ice.
Yeah.
And then the conversation just flowed.
Yeah.
And I will show you the video one time.
What do you mean, broke the ice? You mean that you exposed him, or?
No, the fact that, because they know that they're from there originally. Like, some people think that people don't know things because they're in isolated areas.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised what some people know.
Yeah, no, I do that.
You know, but obviously they've had anthropologists in the past going there and different people, so
Yeah.
they would know that their migration would have came from Africa.
Yeah.
I mean, some say they've been there 30,000 years, 60,000. You just see all different dates. I'd probably think even longer, you know.
Yeah.
It's like when you say modern man, 200,000 years ago in Ethiopia, then they say in Morocco, someone 300,000 years. Well, I think we go back well further than that.
Yeah. Well, you know, like,
I'm not with the Neanderthal. I don't believe, like, we come from apes and stuff like that, you know.
Oh, well, okay.
Let's
Don't
not
get
get
me
started
don't
on
get me started on that.
Yeah.
But so what people who are watching this might be aware of you, James, because first of all, I find the knowledge that you have is fascinating. But it might be aware that you had just did a project early this year in January where you brought a gentleman named Renoko Rashidi here to TASIV at the Caribbean Center to talk about his perspective on a global African presence.
Yeah.
And everything. And you were looking to bring him back, but you know, the crisis happened.
Yeah.
But so just give us just kind of like a short breakdown of what happened when he was here. I mean, why you felt that he had knowledge worth listening to.
Well, it was, first of all, I was trying to hopefully I can get the arena filled. You know, that was because not too many people may have heard of him. So now a lot more people have heard him now, which is a lot better.
So it's like they missed it, and then it was like could have been a good opportunity.
A lot of
to bring
people
him back.
said, "Oh, why didn't you tell me about it?" And
Yeah,
I had too many people saying that. But I told a lot of
I
people.
think I said that.
Also, very short notice. I only had about 2 weeks' notice,
Yeah.
and so I just thought, called the Caribbean Centre. They replied, said, "Yeah, that's fine," and then we got it sorted. And you know, and appreciate their help as well in the Caribbean. You know, they were the help as well. So, because we needed an arena to take him.
Yeah, of course.
And it was a great show, Global African Presence, speaking on the Olmecs also, like I was telling you about, in Mexico.
Yeah.
Because the Olmecs kind of gets ignored a bit. You talk about the Mayans and other peoples, but they don't deal with the Olmecs. But the Olmecs is very important.
Not as sexy.
It's very important also because the time that when they found these heads, it was on private property as well, and you know.
Were these like the heads that are like large?
Yeah.
Yeah, not like the Easter Island heads, but
A bit. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
You've probably seen them yourself.
Well, I have, but the thing about it is that, you know, that's where you go down the road, you go down the well again, because it's like, why are these people having these extremely large heads and you not believe in aliens? Dude, they're wearing hats. If you say so, bro, that's a turban. I get it. That's an interpretation.
Well, you know, I mean,
Come
some
on.
people could say giants. How about that?
Well, see, when you talked about the three-step pyramid, a lot of speculation was that we have these large megalith structures, you know, these mounds, these mountains that were actually footprints or, shoes, and erosion happened. But so, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of speculation in that community. Let's get to the present and the future, because obviously, as a gentleman who has a lot of knowledge from all your years of traveling, you're looking to do a new project now. and everything. And joining forces with our good friend Patrick Graham. And also, too, is let's give Patrick a little shout out because Patrick has moved into the realm of authorship and everything, and he is now published his first book. He didn't give me any money, but it's all right. It's all good.
I got 2 of them books anyway, you know.
Yeah, and the book is called, I believe, just
Three Little Jamaicans.
3 Little Jamaicans.
Yeah.
And everything like that. So
definitely support the book anyway. And
well, listen, man.
to be your own author, you know.
No, well, I have a book myself, but I mean, but Patrick is out in news from nowhere, so look at that. So stop hating.
Well, Patrick as well, like he's one of the few people who I can have the deep conversations with.
No,
I mean,
dude, I've had him.
When I'm on telephone with Patrick, we talk for like about 2 hours, and it just don't stop on history or whatever.
Yeah.
Go deep. And Nazra Elliott, she's actually the leader of the Return Project.
So well, let me lead you in, bro.
Yeah.
So you're doing this thing called the Return Project. So tell us about the Return Project.
Okay, it's like a cultural exchange where we're trying to encourage the youth between different ages to be able to go to Africa, volunteers to be able to take them from within the community and take them to experience land. Now, before we actually take them, there'd be workshops set up. So I'd be teaching, doing my own PowerPoint. Patrick do PowerPoints, and same with Nazra, she does hers as well. We have a person over in Rwanda also who's going to be part of the project, Raz Congo, you know, also. So it's about teaching the youth and preparing them for when they go, and also when they return back to England, that they're going to have learned something. They're going to want to maybe become more knowledgeable in that area, or hopefully go further into it, depending on the individual. But I feel like there's some of the youth these days seem like they're becoming more smarter.
Yeah.
You know, when I was a kid, I didn't have internet, and you know, so we had to read books and.
Oh yeah, we got the library in our phones.
Yeah, that's it. Now it's a lot easier.
But to be able to take them to a place where they can actually feel the atmosphere, you know what I mean, and absorb what's going on. I mean, that really sounds amazing. I mean, you're looking like for youth like 16 and 19, but besides taking them to some place, you're also planning some workshops in the winter garden. So tell us about that.
Yeah, we're going to be doing our PowerPoints. I'll be doing PowerPoints on whether it's world travels, tribes. Also, I do PowerPoints also on African history too. I do that. Patrick, he's going to be doing a lot on African history. Now, I'm not sure exactly how we're going to do it. Like maybe one does west, one does north, not east, and whatever. Whatever, man. You know, I don't have a problem. I've researched it all there. You know, so and that's basically it. And workshops, and that's the same with the workshops in the PowerPoint in the Caribbean Centre. Because me and Patrick were meant to replace Renoko because of he couldn't make it. Then unfortunately we weren't allowed to do it because of the crisis.
Yeah.
But we're hoping me and Patrick also are going to be doing something in the Caribbean Centre very soon. As soon as we get the green light.
Okay. Well, you know, listen. I mean, this has been a fascinating conversation, James, and I'm pretty sure you know people would like to know more because obviously you know we're within a context and everything, and I would hope that people will get from you what I get is that you have a lot more to give.
Oh yeah.
So why don't you tell people how they can find you? Like your social media handles, you know, let's act like we're on TV.
Yeah, well, Culturolution, CIC. I better spell that.
Yeah, you better.
CULTURALUTION CIC, and that's it. So that's Instagram, and I'm on Facebook, but that's me own personal.
And I mean, obviously, my good man James will set up a page on Facebook so that way, you know, he could really get the knowledge out to people who want to find him, especially after this comes out, you know, as opposed to, oh, yeah, okay, that's James hanging out at the party. That's really nice. Okay, I thought the guy was interesting.
Yeah, that's it.
You feel me?
Yeah, of course.
Because I do believe, like you just said, especially in setting up this return project, you want to be able to, like, let people know what kind of information they could delineate from you, you know, what they could find out from the Return Project, what they could find out from the different PowerPoint lectures that you were, you know, putting out there, you know, because basically I think that we all have something to give of ourselves to other people, you know what I mean, and so that's what we have now, we have this whole new normal. So, like, why not just put the information out there for everyone?
That's it.
Yeah.
Also, another country, Madagascar, is a very interesting one. I forgot to mention that one. And the history, when we go back and I look at who are the indigenous peoples of Madagascar, you're going to see people say people came from Indonesia about the different dates. Some say 1,000 years, 2,000 years ago. Now, they say the Bantu, these Africans that got there, but I believe the Africans got there first. But they always have to put someone else there first. Like, look how far Indonesia is to Madagascar, and look how far East Africa is. It's so close, it's. And also, I've looked. I don't want to go into too much detail, but I see evidence of 10,000 years ago Madagascar. So we're talking about another time.
No. I mean, but see, it's time is just a very interesting thing, because if you really just think about it, it's all the conspiracy is that it's all based around, like, it has to all fit into what we all continue to be like, the birth of Christ, and the Anno Domini, and before Christ, and if you discover anything is before that, well, no, there was nothing before Christ. Anyway, don't get me started. Wrong show.
Go back, and it's people are more spiritual, I find.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know what, James? Again, like I said, this has been very interesting. So I would like to, thanks James Diboe and Diboe and everything, and he gave you his social media handles, and hopefully he'll have more places for you to find out more information. So thank you very much, James.
It's a pleasure anyway. Thank you. Big Condo Radio. Look forward to it.
Well, no problem, man. And tell Patrick he owes me money. But I am James Johnson Lynch. This has been a community podcast, and it's great to be back here in the studio, and great to be back here live. So I'm James Johnson Lynch, and we are out of there.
God bless.
All right, peace.